we live?
We're setting up your meeting for Facebook Live.
And it just pops up on the thing?
Yeah, it just popped up on my my current browser. Redirecting to Facebook Live page. Okay. It looks like we're live.
Oh, we are live. All right. Let's
Okay.
Hey world, it's Lisa and Lauren from Art Movie.
So yeah, we are live on Facebook. We haven't been here in a couple months. We took a little break after our break day and we're back. This is actually how we're going to do our podcast from now on. We've been recording podcasts since January and we decided that why not just go live with our podcast because we were recording them live anyway. So if you're new to the podcast or new to this, basically it's an ongoing conversation where we ask sort of a new question each time we meet, and we just dive right into that question. It's very organic. Lisa and I have been talking to each other almost on a basis since like 2008, so it's pretty casual. We encourage you to join that conversation. And today's question is, how can art help through change? How can art help you through a change, small or big? I don't know if any of you have noticed, but we're sort of going through a big change. We're like in the middle of it. We had a presidential election yesterday we also had some state elections and measures and all bunches of stuff throughout the United States. So we're just like in it right now. And yeah, change brings what? What does change bring up for you emotionally, Lisa? What are some?
I mean, you know, it brings up a lot. It brings up, I mean, the biggest change is death, right? So I always think about that. And I think that's why we as humans fear change, because it's always like, you know, because the ultimate is, you know, you're not going to be alive. So that's, you know, it's just, and even like if you look at change, it's a death of something old.
Yeah, right.
So that's what I think. I read today in The World, PRI, The World. It was an article. I'll send it to you guys. It was called, the phrase it's a Mexican phrase called zozobra, and it's a peculiar anxiety you may be sensing as part of a dizziness that arises from social disintegration, like the pandemic, a crazy election, the world's on fire, you know, climate change. And so this word was a Mexican philosopher's word from when they were colonized and conquested by the Spanish. And so their world was, you know,
like basically taken and flipped upside down.
Exactly. So they created this philosophy called zozobra, which is the anxiety that ripples through us, and it's almost like something that we have to unpack and figure out how to cope with it. And I feel that art is the best tool to cope with zozobra.
Yeah. So among that feeling, I also so that's sort of anxiety. I think there's a lot of fear. There's a dread, kind of, is a sort of anticipation. A little sadness thrown in there. And yeah, so those are like, if you're feeling any of those feelings right now, if you felt them in the last 24 hours or whatever, if you're feeling them later, when you watch this later, we're here to kind of introduce the idea of taking an art break to help you through those feelings. And so how does art help you through change? Well, if you're talking about feelings like anxiety and fear and stress and anticipation, art is that tool that you can use to kind of distract yourself while the back of your head is working through some stuff. That's one way it can do that. Another way, and Lisa and I talk about this all the time, is that it kind of allows you to have a conversation with yourself that you may not consciously be allowing to maybe speak its mind, or you just might not be able to attach specific words to that feeling of. So that's another thing that art can help you do.
It also I mean, obviously it helps with mental health, which you were alluding to. So science says de-stresses you. It gets you balanced. It also can inspire you to take action. That's another thing. Also, I think it's alchemy. I always use my art as I put, my negative emotions into intention into the drawing, and then through creating, it kind of transforms because it's being seen. Because as you said, it comes from your subconscious. So your subconscious, in your body, you're getting it out, and then you can transmute it or transform it into something positive, or even like have a talk with it. And also art improves your critical thinking. So it's almost like right now we are in the Zozobra, movement, or everybody's
like swimming around in the stress, right?
Yeah. So it's like you gotta get it out somehow, and then just get it out, and then draw. You can even scribble.
Yeah. Right. Mm-hmm. And then, I was thinking of an art break we could sort of give, and the art break that I thought of in my head is that you could just, all you need is a piece of paper and a couple of colored, crayons or pastels or whatever you might have hanging out in your house right now, and sort of like just sit down and put that blank piece of paper in front of you. And if you're comfortable doing it, just close your eyes, right? And you just close your eyes and you think of all those feelings, even if you don't have a name for them yet. Just think of all the things that you're feeling. Just feel them in your body, and then open your eyes, pick a color, whatever, just don't think about it. Pick a color, and just like Lisa said, you don't even need to draw. I actually am going to encourage you not to draw. If that makes any sense to you, scribble, just do swirls or something, and just imagine all this kind of coming from here. This is where I feel it. I feel it here. I feel it here. And just imagine it moving from this part of your body to the paper, and just kind of do that. Because I feel like that's something you might have. And if you don't have color, fine. Grab a pencil, grab a pen. Just all you need is a piece of paper and a pen, and you can do this. You can move the whatever emotion you're feeling from your body to the piece of paper, and then just like, I don't know, tuck it away somewhere if you can't face it right now, and come back to it like Lisa was saying, and let it talk to you, and just see if it brings up something that maybe like you hadn't thought before, because the feelings you're having today aren't just because of what's happening right now. They're because of what's happening right now, and because of everything else that's happened your whole life. And yeah, that sounds like a lot, but that's the reality of it. And you gotta kind of find a way to deal with it. And art is just, art, this is why I love art. Because
it's a superpower. Yeah, I mean, art can also help you change your mood. I mean, if you, like, for example, you were saying, like, get it out. What you can also do is just write it out. Like, write anything that comes, like, stream of consciousness, like, whatever's, like, anything that's coming out. Look at it and then tear it up. I always call that an act of rebellion. You let it out because you're writing. And, I think there's something, too, when we use our hands, right? So you're writing out any words, any thoughts, any feelings, anything, and then take it and rip it. You know what I mean? And just, you can burn it if you're in a safe place. That's one really cool art break to do.
Another one I was thinking that is like, if you can find something repetitive to do, that will also be a way to maybe just get out of your head for a while, because we can sometimes just stay here and then feel like the world is kind of crashed down on us. So if you have access to like a piece of cardboard and yarn, you can just kind of wind the yarn around the cardboard, and then take another piece of twine and just go up and down and up and down. Or you can even use your fingers. You just go in and out of your fingers, and then you can just weave through your fingers, because weaving will be repetitive. It's, some people go for a run because it helps their brain just get out of their brain for a while, if that makes sense. And weaving is another thing that you can do. You could also weave paper, rip paper, and then glue the tips of it, and weave other paper up and over in it. And it's just a repetitive process will help you not think, because, and it also gives you something to focus on again, so that your kind of your nervous system can just work its way through all of this, whatever you're feeling, and just work it out. And you'll be surprised, even after 5 or 10 minutes, you'll feel more relaxed. You'll reduce your stress. Will it be gone? Well, no, it's not gonna be gone, but you might be in a place where you can confront it a little bit more calmly, pragmatically.
That's a great idea. The art, weaving. I think it's that, where you don't have to think. That's it. That's what I was thinking. Art, to create change, it puts you in the present moment, because right. So as we're going through this Zobra moment, it's like we're in the past, we're in the future. And you're coming to the present, and it's kind of like smooshing you in. So what art does, it really gets you to be in the present moment. And if you really think,
I love that. So there's another one. So this is like a grounding exercise for that you can do for a child with anxiety. This is the tip that you have, but you can do this yourself. Is that you basically, if you're feeling like, because I imagine when you say zozobra, like that the whole room is spinning and you can almost like physically feel like all this stuff floating around you. You can do is you can start, you pick a color in the room and you look for that color around the room, or you pick a shape in that room. And it's a tip that psychologists give to kids for like a classroom, but you can easily turn it into right now. If you're feeling like super like that, like you're in the middle of this ocean of stress that's just like swirling around you, do at least a set and find a way to come in the present moment, because you're focusing on the past and the future, and you're not here right now. And so be here and look around your room and look for anything that's yellow or anything that's blue, or look for circles, and you do it for 5 minutes, and you'll notice that your breathing is less sort of panicked or manic or something like that. Too, I do that. Like I go around my house and I'm like, you know what, I just need to do something else for 5 minutes. And I just walk around my house and I pick a color and I draw whatever is that color in my house as quickly as possible.
I do that too, but I include my art break is with nature. So it's like you go out into nature, take a walk, and then I do it for my chakras, because I went to the chakras. So I'm like, the root chakra is red, find something red in nature. And then the solar is orange, the solar chakra is orange, find something orange in nature. So you're kind of going outside and inside your body, and you're in the present moment, which is really cool. And then you do your solar plexus, which is yellow. I find yellow. And then, it's kind of like creating this reciprocity. And then your heart is green, heart chakra is green. I find green. Your throat is blue. I find blue. This third eye is indigo, and then the crown is like golden. So you kind of find these colors in your walk, and then at the end of it, you're like, oh wow! You kind of dance with. You're dancing with art. So that's a cool art break.
I love that. That's my kiddos and I do. We search for the rainbow.
Yeah.
So it feels really similar to that. I love that.
Well,
Yeah. I mean, because what you're doing, and you may not even realize it, right, is that you're in the present moment, because you have to be looking around you. You might notice something you've never noticed before, which is always a good thing to do, because you can practice being grateful. And then it kind of turns the world around you into an artwork, which who doesn't want to live inside an artwork? I mean, because that just feels so uplifting. I
love that. Another art break that you just brought me to, like, what if you were living inside? Your art break would be like, you look up a masterpiece, say it's Vincent van Gogh's Starry Night.
Yeah.
What if you like live in that landscape? You know what I mean? Kind of use your imagination, because daydreaming and imagination are also an art break, and it really gets you out of the Zodobra into something, a brighter space, right?
Yeah.
Go online, look up your favorite artwork, and then dive into it. And even create a narrative like, who am I if I'm walking in the starry night? Use your play and just really enjoy it. And it's a win-win situation because, you're looking at art, which we know it helps you. And then you're actually activating, you're actually, you're in it and you're developing empathy for the artist and for the story that he presented or she.
I love that. So as I've mentioned before, I'm a total control freak, and I'm trying to just recognize that and be okay with it, because there are definitely positive sides to being a control freak, but there are negative sides, because control comes with when you, like, I don't have any control right now over a lot of things. And so I thought of this exercise I could do for myself, which is sort of this practice of letting go. And so if you have access to watercolor and to piece of paper, you can get your watercolor really, really wet and just drip the watercolor paper and let the watercolor go. And you can't do anything. You're not allowed to touch it. You just kind of watch where it goes. And if you don't have watercolor, if you have food coloring, then just dip a couple things in food coloring and you have watercolor. And you can use a spoon if you don't have a paintbrush or a dripper. You could also, my son's preschool teacher figured out if you use an old marker and you put it in some water, you just, voila, you have watercolor, which is amazing. If you have an old dried up marker, put it in some water for a little while and then you have watercolor. If you don't even have any of that stuff, then get a glass of water and a spoon and go outside and just throw some water on the ground and watch it disappear. And that will just, it'll let you breathe, but it's also, I feel like it's this lesson in just like transformation, that things come and they go, and that everything is temporary, and it'll just, I hope it'll help you just kind of let go a little bit, because as control freaks, that's what we need to do. My mantra for a really long time, it was during grad school, was just let go. I did a whole series of artwork around just that statement, just let go, because you just have to. Or you'll crash and burn.
Yeah. You don't want to implode on yourself. Which when you don't let go, that's what happens. Yes. It's also, well, two things come up. I do that with painting, with acrylic painting. When I have a yard, for my graduate show, I would go outside and I would hose the canvas, and then I would throw paint on it, and I wouldn't touch it.
I remember that. Yeah. I remember seeing that. Yeah.
Yeah. And it was like you were kind of like co-creating with whatever the creativity, and it was magic. It would be a really magical process.
Yeah, but that's a practice of sort of like letting nature take its course, right? Like you're letting go of some control, and you're watching magic happen, right? That's the thing, is that sometimes when you let go, you can discover new things that you would have never been able to had you not let go. But it's also just, it helps you, right? Letting go exercises can just kind of bring you back to your body in a healthy way. Like just allow you to kind of take a breath. A lot of us are probably like, we probably have our shoulders up to our ears. We're forgetting to breathe. We're holding our breath. We're holding our breath sort of like figuratively, but we probably are also doing it a little bit literally. And so if you can just find a way to get more breath into your body, it's amazing what breath can do, so maybe if you're in a place where it's cold, go outside and breathe on your window, and then draw a little thing for yourself and have a little fun with it. There's an art break right there.
There's an art break. Yeah.
Breathing at the same time, and maybe you'll laugh a little bit and get a little bit more oxygen, and that's also helpful. Yeah, I mean, I think there's just art is this, just like try to dive in. And I know that for a lot of people, it can be intimidating. And when you're feeling fear and anxiety, all of that stuff around art, if you're not sort of already on the train of taking an art break being a good thing, it will be coming up for you. So I hope some of these practices are more approachable, because you could just like take a glass of water and throw it on your driveway. Or if you don't have a driveway, if you're like in an apartment, then throw it in your sink or something like that, and just kind of watch the water and realize that the water, just like let go of the fact that you're controlling it or something, just.
Yeah. So it's interesting. Our art breaks, what we're bringing up is like art can help us change by releasing things. I think and releasing it and getting into the present moment. And also like, yeah,
Totally.
like it's like you're releasing, and so that's how art can change and transform you and transmute a situation.
Yeah. Well, to circle back to what you were saying, right at the very beginning, it's about a death of something. The ultimate change is your real death, but you're saying it's like this death of an idea or a death of a pathway that you thought you were going down. I mean, this is all related even to COVID, right? It's we're all on this path, and then boom, right? That path is dead now. And so how do you deal with that kind of change? And now we have another major one that's we're swimming around in right now. How can you? Yeah, and I think it's you let it out, but let's let it out in a positive way, in a positive transformation way, so that we can find a path that is beneficial for your future self, right? But yeah, so change is all about kind of reflecting on the past, right? Or this is what I had, this is what I, and then it's like, oh gosh, what's it gonna be like, right? And so you're saying, let's just kind of be here right now, again, because control freaks, the only thing you can do, right, is the only thing you have control over is you and the choices you make, right? So if you can have a healthy you, then that's a healthier future.
So that brings up, we were talking about, it's almost like look to nature. When you look at a tree and its leaves die, what do? They don't hold on to the leaves. They let them go. Right. And then the leaves produce like compost for other things to grow. So if you can think about that, if you let it go, look to nature almost as because art is nature, I think. So the other thing that I want to talk about is like you were talking about a better self or a better world or a better path for yourself. So after you release all this stuff, there's a really cool practice that I do. It's called the Siegel. I do a mandala, which is a circle, and then you create a phrase like, what do you want your world to look like, or what do you want yourself to look like, and you write it down. Okay, so let's just say I want to release my fear of getting COVID or something like that. Or no, that's not that. I would like to be healthy, happy, and live in a beautiful world, something like that, right? So I want to live in a beautiful world. I want to live in a beautiful world, right? So what you do is you write that phrase out, and then all the repetitive letters you cross out. Does that make sense? So I want to live in a better world. I'll do it really quick for you. Better world. So you find all the I's and you cross out them. And so then what you do is you take it and you put, so let's say, let me just do it real quick. So then what you do is you put you pick, I'm not making sense, am I? But what you do is you take all the repetitive things and then you put those letters into your mandala. So for example, I have an I. I'm going to put the I in the mandala like that.
Okay. Yeah.
I see it. I have a W, so then I'm going to do a W. So I put the W in there. Yeah. And then so what you're doing is you're having a direct link with your subconscious, and then you're like trying to manifest. I want to live in a beautiful, better world. And then you color it in, and so then you look at it and have a discussion with it. I hope that made sense.
So you take a statement. Right. So this is you helping people maybe try to focus on something positive.
Right. After you release, so you let go.
You take all the I forget
Zobra.
Yeah. You take all that. You take all your I call it. You take all that. and you kind of get it out as much as you can. And then the next step you take is come up with a positive, uh, sort of positive sentence, almost like a mantra, right? So I would pick Just Let Go for me today, right?
Right.
You kind of write it inside and you create lines within a mandala and then you color in all of the shapes that have been created by that statement.
Yes.
But I love it. So we're gonna, so hopefully these Art Break ideas that we just kind of passed on to you will help you both release any sort of emotions you have around change, which generally are like anxiety, stress, fear for a lot of people. Yeah, sure, change can definitely be a good thing, but you're still probably going to have some anxiety and anticipation around that change because humans just biologically sort of crash into change a little bit, no matter what it is, because we are sort of repetitive routine beings. And so transition is probably one of the hardest things for most people to deal with. So art is a wonderful way to just deal with it in the best way we can. So I would love to hear if anybody gives any of these a try, if they have any other ideas that they do to kind of take an art break and help themselves deal with swimming around in stress. Or yeah, I don't know. I think I love, art is awesome. I feel better just even talking about art.
Oh yeah.
Makes me feel better. So
I think what the underlying factor is art is the ultimate self-care tool for everybody because it's that science knows it we know it when we do it. So it's almost like a lot of people are into self-care these days because we have to be because of the Zobra that's going around. But art is really the most fantastic tool for self-care.
Awesome. Yeah.
And it can be for 3 minutes, for 5 minutes, for an hour.
Yes.
For a day.
Yes. I would encourage you to just pick one of we also, go to artismoving.org if none of these sort of resonated with you, give them a try. I really, I want to encourage everyone to just give it a good 5 minutes today. And just kind of think about how you feel at the beginning, give it 5 minutes, and then think about how you feel afterward. And we'd love to hear from you. And yeah, I hope it inspires you to do it every day because art makes people better and better people make a better world. So let's do it.
All right. Awesome.
Thanks, everybody.
All right.
We'll check in with you later.
All right.